Texas Rangers manager Bruce Bochy. Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Well, we're doing great and hoping you can help us out just a little bit, because the rumblings out in the world are that y'all are calling up Owen White, perhaps to start tonight. Can you tell us anything about that?
You know, I really can, because we have not made any moves officially yet. The one move we have made is Bradford. He will start tonight's game.
Okay.
So that's where we're at right now. I know that news came out, but I can't add anything or tell you anything until obviously see why Chris Young and I talk and look at our situation. We have used our pitching quite a bit, as you know, the last few days. So we could need coverage, but nothing has been determined yet.
I know a lot of this will still depend on that meeting. I was kind of curious, looking a couple days ahead, could you envision a scenario at all where perhaps Heaney and Evaldi get moved back a day in the rotation to give them just a little bit of an extra rest?
Yeah, right now, no, but to your point, yes. That's a good chance of that happening. When you look at the rotation, and I'll just talk about Dunning last night. He was off a little bit with his command. 5 walks. We had a 5-1 lead, and normally he's attacking the zone, and he just wasn't quite himself. So you have to think about his spot too. So anyway, you have to have coverage there, and that's what we're talking about, to be able to do that. Actually, those two came in, thinking they may get moved up one day to pick us up, since John Gray needs to be skipped. So that just tells you about who they are.
Boch, I'm kind of curious, with all your years of experience managing, is pitching ever exactly the way you want it throughout an entire season, or is it kind of like holding Jell-O?
Man, I tell you, I wish it was. I do. It's critical to your success. That's where I'll start, especially the starters. They're so difficult to replace. I was fortunate for years to never have to deal with injuries in a rotation, and that doesn't happen very often. But because of that, success came with it. So anyway, you have to take care of these guys. I've said this so many times, where you lose a position player, it's incredible how that can be replaced a lot easier than a starting pitcher, or even a high leverage reliever. So that's why we're trying to take care of these guys, give them that extra day when we can. There's a day off. If you notice, we always honor that day off and give them that extra day. But to your point, you're always going to be scrambling around at times. Maybe go with the bullpen, go with an opener, things like that, to get through a season.
To add on to that, do you feel, and not saying that this is spiraling out of control, but do you feel like it's very important as a manager and as your coaching staff to get together quickly to make sure that the guys know we got control of this? We will make the right decisions. We're not going to let it get out of control.
Right, and that's what we're doing, and that's why Bradford's coming up. He's had 2 spot starts, so his last start, I thought he did a nice job in Baltimore. Gave up 2 in the first. One was, because of a sun ball there, but anyway, we're looking at options in the minor leagues, guys that can give us innings, so you don't get to a point where you're having to spend 4 or 5 days to get the bullpen in order, get the rotation in order. Sometimes you just have to go with, Bradford. You mentioned Owen White. He's a name that has been mentioned, as you said, and so guys like that hopefully can help you keep things in order.
We're talking with Bruce Bochy right here on 105 through the Fan. I was curious, you mentioned Dunning. Obviously, right before that, Martin Perez had a tough start. Is at home 3-0 with a 1.4 ERA, on the road 3-2 with a 6.5 ERA. I'm curious, not just for him, but just in general, do you ever consider altering the rotation so that Martin Perez can kind of start at home more often than just an even split?
Yeah, and you want that we do look at that. We also look at a certain team trying to get the matchups. Sometimes it's difficult to move around that rotation if you don't have a day off or if you're skipping somebody. But yeah, I think that's our job. Try to put them in a place where they've had the most success or chance to have success, and that's by matching up with certain teams. So, Mike I'm talking about Mike Maddox. I mean, what an incredible job he does in his preparation, but also looking at things like that. And, we talked about, Martine and, certain teams, we're very much aware of how well he's pitching at home. And so, and he knows it too. And so sometimes it's hard to explain, but, for the most part, I think guys do play better at home. That's just a fact.
Boch, I have a solution for all of these problems. Hear me out here.
Oh, good, man.
Okay.
Hey, I read recently.
You just tell all of your position players, go on the Otani program. So now you have 26 pitchers on your team at all times.
Right. Yeah. That's really incredible, isn't it? He's definitely, I mean, you couldn't have more of a unicorn. This guy, he's just amazing what he's doing on both sides. And I mean, those two balls he hit, I know the question last night was, if I thought about walking them. Well, the one area where you've had success with him are left-handers, and I think he's hit like 220, and Cole was out there, Reagan's, and that pitch just got away. And but yeah, and you're looking at the guy behind him. I mean, he's hitting much better off the lefty. So that's the one area maybe. But I mean, the power. I mean, the ball. He hit off Anderson. I mean, it looked like a 3-wood. That's how strong he is. So now I'm going to work on that, though. I appreciate that. I'm going to ask around who can get on the mound. I'm guessing Adolis. I'm looking at that arm. I think that'll work. I did talk to Josh Young about it. He pitched, I think, an inning for the Red Raiders, and his ERA is like 100. So So don't think we haven't looked at it a little bit.
Boch, when it comes, this is interesting to me. I know it's joking about the Otani thing, just how amazing he is. If there was a high school kid that you knew and it was 50-50, really good position player, really good pitcher, you just talked about the importance of pitching. What would you tell them if they had to make a decision at 18 years old when they're going to college or going into the draft, and it was a 50-50 guy? Would you lean towards developing them as a pitcher or developing them as an everyday player?
Oh, man, that's, there's, some other variables involved. But I'll say this. I would start as a position player. I really I would, because you can always go back to trying to pitch, at a later age. It usually doesn't work the other way too often, although there's been a few that have done it. Cardinals, the left-hander.
Rick Ankiel.
He came back as a hitter, but so I would say I'd give a shot at a position player, but maybe even pitch a little bit. It's been shown it can happen. It's been done. Doesn't mean you still can't pitch a little bit in minor leagues. I think the Giants drafted a kid last year, and he's playing both ways a little bit in minor leagues. So the other side of that, though, is as you know, there's 13 pitchers on the team, so there's more spots there too. But I'm thinking you're looking at somebody elite. So I start with being a position player at first.
I believe it was yesterday, Ken Rosenthal had a rather glowing profile about you in The Athletic. Do you get a chance to read stuff like this, and do you enjoy it, or would you rather just all the focus be on the team and people not hyping you up?
Yeah, I did not read it. I did have it sent to me. I'm being honest. I haven't read it. You're never comfortable reading my stuff. I don't believe, all the bad things or the good things said. So it's something I'm not comfortable even looking at it. I'm focused here, but the focus should be on this team, the job they're doing, not me. This coaching staff. I mean, what a tremendous job they're all doing. The hitting guys, Donnie Ecker, Tim Hires, of course, Mike, all of them, and what these players are doing. So, but it was sent to me from a couple guys here on the staff, because one of our analyst, Bobby Banilow's, quoted quite a bit, so they wanted me to read it so I could get on him. So at some point I will.
Well, I read it actually during the show yesterday, and I thought there was a lot of great stuff about the team and what, just some very simple subtle touches that you've made on this team. One of the things that I kind of gleaned from it, though, that I really wanted to ask you, my father-in-law, Boch, whenever I went to Vegas, he said, "Here's my blackjack method," and he gave me a lot of things to make sure I did and did not do. And one of the things they say you stick to very much that you really hold true is the lefty-righty splits. Can you explain to me, whenever those situations come up, why that is so important to you?
Yeah. And I'm assuming you're talking
pitching,
the matchups, the pitching matchups more than the hitting. Yeah. I guess I go back to my early years. I had a couple teams. I didn't even have a left-handed reliever. If you look at Houston, they haven't had one for a while. I believe in putting the best pitcher out there versus going so much into the matchup. But you still have to look at everything. And before the game, we look at all the hitters. What matchups we like, kind of have them ranked, how they came in. For example, last night, after Smitty, and what a great job he did with the 2 innings, Sporzy too, really the bullpen. I mean, the one mistake, Anderson, I don't know if that's a mistake. He's such a good hitter, but the point I'm getting to is Reagans can spin it very good, and this is a team that, you want that ability. He's got a big fastball. He's got a good curve, a cutter, and a good changeup. And, it worked the first inning. Second inning, not so good. But, with how we looked at the rest of them, we felt that was a good matchup, just like, when he was facing Otani there. The matchup actually was pretty good, but I think he touched on it. He didn't execute his pitch. That wasn't where, we were trying to pitch him there, and he's just so strong. He just went the other way. So, that's kind of where it all started with me on how I use pitchers. I mean, it's easy to bring in a lefty, face a lefty, and all that. I get it. And sometimes, believe me, or a lot of times it makes the most sense. But still, I like going with who I think is throwing the best at the time.
Boch, 2 things here. One, Leote just got really unlucky when he hit the rocket right to the second baseman yesterday. Anywhere else and you win that game.
You can look at puke in the dugout when that happens.
But I was just thinking of this as I'm looking at Duran, who hits a 3-run homer yesterday, Leote, who's just been swinging a great bat for a long time now. I'm like, man, these guys would maybe be batting first and second on other teams in the major leagues. And for the Texas Rangers, they're batting 8th and 9th for you.
Oh, I agree. And that's what's really has lengthened our lineup is those guys. And those are the ones I talk about, and in particular, those 2. And so really, you do have top of the order type guys at the back end of the order. So, it's always a very strong lineup. It doesn't matter who's out there, a lot of times you get through the first 5 and now your lineup becomes soft. Well, that's not the case with us. And you look at last night, they're the guys who did most of the damage. I think my first 4 guys had a couple hits. I mean, it was a rough go for them, but they've been carrying the biggest part of the load this year. But I can't say enough about what the back end has done too.
I know there was a lot of focus on the series against the Rays, and because of the great records, I get all of that. I was curious, not only did you learn anything from that series, but do you feel like you learned something from every series during the season, or do you not kind of break it up like that?
No. We try to take notes from every series, things we learned, things we could have done different. And I do that every game. I go back through that game last night on something I could have done different to help this ball club win. I did be honest. I took a risk there, leaving Cole out there. I could answer with the right-hander with Wallach up there, but I was thinking, all right, we're down 2. I felt like he had the stuff to get them, and then we have more pitching for tomorrow night. But hey, that didn't work out. That's the one where I looked at. So I'm just giving you an example. I do that. I want the players to, take 5 minutes at some point. Just go rehash something you did good or something you might have done different. That's how I think we all get better. You never stop trying to get better, trying to improve, and I certainly do it myself.
Now, Boch, today, coming up around 3:20, I do believe Corey Seeger's hopping on with the G-Bag Nation, our afternoon show. Do you have a question that you would submit to them to ask him later today?
Oh, man. I guess, for me, it's the question that we ask him all the time, see how he's doing, coming off that hamstring, how the hamstring's doing. But something on the humor side, no, I'd have to think a little bit on that. But he's just an incredible player and a hitter, and so we need to take care of him. That's why we've been DHing him occasionally.
And Boch, the last question for you here. We speak on the radio for 4 hours a day, so we have some fun and theoreticals here. And coming up here in a second, I'm going to ask you this question first, and then we're going to discuss. I believe that my wife and women in general get mad at us for leaving stuff out and then hide it from us and then say they didn't touch it. And then I have to play hide and seek around the house to try to find my shoes or my shirt or something. Do you believe at any point, like, your wife or women kind of get frustrated with us that we leave stuff out and then they put stuff up that we can't find?
Yeah, that's not the case in my house. For the most part, she won't pick it up. She'll just say, I hope you trip over it. Something like that. No, but don't get me wrong. She cleans up. She does that stuff. But, if I get bad about it, she'll say something like, how's that look for you right now? How's that looking in here, So, but I try not to be too big of a slob, but we all get in a hurry, whatever, and so I try to be respectful of that. But I like that. She has not done that, at least to my knowledge. Maybe I just never found them, or I forgot that I had them because she hit them. So that's a good point. I will ask tonight.
Yeah, let us know how that conversation goes. Outstanding
Thanks,
stuff.
Boch.
Appreciate it very much, good sir.
All right, guys. Good talking with you.